Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I've got a great project for you today. Today we are making a quilt using the Rhombus Template, and the Rhombus Template is traditionally used in making the tumbling block quilt, and we have a great tutorial on that. But today we're going to use this same template to make stars. So let's take a look at this quilt behind me. Isn't this beautiful? This is such a pretty quilt, such pretty fabric, and I love stars. Quilters just love stars. There's just something special about them that we love. So to make this quilt, you're going to use the original pre-cut, which is a fat quarter, and you're going to need 12 of those. And we have a little pack here, and this is Kim Diehl's fabric. It's called Abundant Blessings, and it's for Henry Glass, and it's just beautiful. You're also going to need some background fabric. You're going to need 3 1/4 yards of background, and that's going to be all this and your borders. For your outer border, you're going to need 1.5 yards, and it makes a 6.5 inch border right here. And the backing is 5.5 yards to make this pretty backing. So it's just a fun quilt. It makes a great size of a quilt. It actually makes 70 by 90. So it's a nice big quilt and goes together so easily. I can hardly wait to show you. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our fat quarters. Now, for those of you who don't know, a fat quarter is 1/2 yard of fabric cut at the fold. So 1/2 yard is 18 inches, and then you're going to cut it at the fold, and that will give you 2 18 by about 20 inches. 18 by 20, something like that is what size a fat quarter is. And that was really the original pre-cut before anything. I like to iron mine, make sure they're nice and flat because they fold them up and they sit in those packs and they look so cute. But when you go to cut, you want a nice flat surface. So we're going to press this out, and I'm going to fold it in half like this, and I'm going to cut a 5-inch strip off of it. Actually, I'm going to fold it in half this way. I want to cut it the long way. So I'm going to cut some 5-inch strips off of here. We need 2 of each blade, 2 of the blades. We need 6. We're going to get 2 out of each cut. So let me cut some 5-inch strips here. Here's 1, 2, and 1 more, 3. Now out of each one of these strips, we are going to get 2 rhombuses, and I'm just going to stack them up like this so we can cut them all at once. And we're going to lay this on here like this. See how that just fits perfectly on the top and bottom right there? Then we can come with our rotary cutter, and you want to cut your little notch and cut up on this side, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to cut this and cut your little notch. This template was made to fit the 10-inch squares, and so it just fits perfectly on that 5-inch strip, just like that. Clean that up a little bit. All right, so this is the shape we're looking for, and you need 6 for each star. Now for your background right here, you're also going to cut a 5-inch strip. Now on the Rhombus template, we have to have triangles to finish out our block, and so the legs of the star are all made with a color. Everything else on this whole quilt except the border are these triangles. Now right here it says this is the line-up edge to cut the triangles, so we give you that information, and we're going to lay this on our 5-inch strip. So I've taken my background, cut a 5-inch strip, and I lay this line this edge up to cut the triangles. And we're going to cut here like this and cut across this top like this gently and cut down this side. Then when we're ready to cut our next set of triangles, we're going to flip this template around right here. And then this one is already lined up on that side. And again, we're just going to set our line to the edge. Line up your edge with the edge of the fabric. And it looks like I can pull this over right to that edge, just like that. And then I only have to cut this other side over here. There we go. And cut my little point off. Trimming off those little points is going to help you line it up. So you're going to get a big stack of these. You need 12 for each star. And let me show you how to do this. This is really fun. So you're going to take each one of your pieces, and we are going to put a triangle on this side and a triangle on this side. This is the little piece that we're going for. So we're going to do that, and I have some started over here, so I'm going to use these over here so I can finish up my star with the same color. So I need to make one of these, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay my piece, and it should square up on this end right here and square, you know, match up perfectly on the sides with that. Now we're going to sew 1/4 inch down this side, so we're going to go over to the sewing machine and do that. All right, now I'm going to just make sure I'm on my 1/4 inch line, so right down here. Then we're going to press this back. Now the triangles are the same on all 3 sides, so you don't have to worry about getting that turned at all. So now we're going to put the next triangle over here like this and lay it on, match our edges, and then sew that 1/4 inch right down that side as well. All right, you're going to do this 6 times. You're going to get 6 of these little star legs and your triangles sewn together. So then what we've got to do is we're going to lay out our 6. I've already sewn a couple, and this is all straight line sewing. This is the cool thing about this template, is this is traditionally one where you have to, you know, you have those little partial seams. No partial seams on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this together like this, and we're going to sew these by just laying them on top of each other and 1/4 inch right down the side. So let's go to the sewing machine. Let's make our 1/4 inch happen here. And I am making sure that my little seams line up along that edge. I'll show you that a little more when I get back over here to the table. All right, let's press this open. And what I'm talking about here, now it won't matter what side I put this on because we're making a 1/2 star. And so when I put these together, this is the line you want to match up. So I'm just going to line this up here like this. Like that. And then I just feel to make sure these are nested. And if one of these seams needs to roll the other way, that's okay with me. And you can look and see that it's like really close together right there. And we're just going to line them up. It should be, you know, if your 1/4 inch is pretty good, these should line up with their little blunt ends. They should line up just about perfectly. This is really an easy one. You know, once you understand what's going on, it's pretty easy to make it fit together. Alrighty. Let me press this out, see how we did. Not too bad. It could be one hair perfect, but it's okay. It's good enough for me. All right, so here we go. And we have a 1/2 star. You're going to make 2 halves of stars, and the stars are going to go together like this. But you're not going to want to put them together yet, because now this goes together in rows. So you'll lay out your stars so they match up, but it sews together in rows. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So just like we sewed our edges together, we're going to sew 1/2 stars together, just like this. See how that's happening here? Long rows, and these are straight seams. So when our star, this piece right here, when we get ready to sew it to the next star, we're going to lay it, it's going to lay on here like this. One star is going to go up, one star is going to go down, and they form the whole star, but it's just a straight seam again that you sew, and you sew this together. So let's look at what happens when we lay these out. We've got 3 across, and I'm going to flip this one right here. Well, nope, I'm going to leave this just like this. I have to see what I've got to match up to it. So this one's going to match up right here, and you're going to do this on your design wall, and this one's going to match up over here. And then we begin our next star down which I wouldn't choose the exact same color. I would do something else in here. So then this row right here, this row is sewn together. This row, you're just going to lay these pieces right on here, stitch them down, sew them together, and add this one on over here. All right? Then these rows get sewn together to form stars. So then when we go to put the next row on, obviously, this is going to be a finished star, and then we'll have our 2 halves for the next one. So let's look at the quilt. So these are your rows right here, half star blocks. The second row, we match up the red, and we have the top half of the yellow, and we match it up. And we just keep doing that all the way down. Now, one of the things to note on this quilt is when you're ready to add the borders, you have to just cut these right here. You have 2 triangles right here, and we're only using a half a triangle on our border. We want a nice straight border. So what we're going to do on our border is we are going to lay our ruler, and we're going to come in. Let me do this from the other side. It'll be so much easier for my left hand. So we're going to lay our ruler right on here, and I'm going to look at this right here. I want at least 1/4 inch because I don't mind if my points touch, but I want at least 1/4 inch. So I lay my 1/4 inch, make sure it's sticking out from that seam right there, 1/4 inch over. And then I'm going to make sure I'm lined up pretty straight. You know, have my star, my row is on there pretty straight, my ruler's matching up pretty good. Make sure I have 1/4 inch. And then you're just going to trim these off like this, and you have a straight edge to add your border to. Now, the way this quilt came out, it came out a little longer than it was wide. So we actually added wider borders out here on the sides and a smaller border on top so that it would just kind of square out a little bit, you know. Sometimes when you make a quilt, it goes real narrow, and we like them a little more. I like them rectangular, but not like runways, you know. And so you just want to watch that. So it's just as easy as that. You're going to put it together, you'll add your inner border, you'll add your outer border, and you'll be ready to go. Now, because, you know, I just love this and I couldn't leave it alone, guess what? We have won a small one for the charm pack that we're coming out with, and or that's already out for you. And look at this one. Same exact thing, only we did it small with the small 5-inch block. Isn't that the cutest thing? So it's just fun to do. It's quick and easy. It's done exactly the same way. You're just going to use this. There'll be a line on it so you can cut your little triangles, and you are good to go. So I really enjoyed making this. I love finding new uses for our templates, and this idea actually came from one of the girls who sews with me. So we hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the Rhombus Star from the Missouri Star Quilt Company.